A while ago, I was interacting with a chatbot, and I was using my phone. And very quickly, I discovered an issue. The issue is related to the keyboard that is on my phone. The keyboard itself is not so much the problem, rather, the size of the keyboard is the problem. It's just a little bit too easy for me to type a K when I intended to type a J. And it was this that was making my experience with my chatbot poor. I kept on introducing typos, which was really confusing to the system that I was trying to interact with. This did get me thinking though. What can we maybe do to make virtual assistants robust against these kinds of spelling errors? And let's be explicit. If this big circle over here represents all the different kinds of spelling errors that are possible, then we need to admit that typos are but a subset of those spelling errors. But especially on a mobile phone, I would argue that this is a relevant problem to focus in on. So what I would like to do in this video is I would like to talk about an augmentation technique, as well as a benchmark that might make you more robust against keyboard typos. So let's talk about the experiment that I did. I have a data set that has about 150 intents. And just to zoom in explicitly, that means that I have a data set with text examples as well as these intent labels. And I would have 150 of these intent labels in total. So that's 150 different classes that I have to predict. And for each class, I have 150 examples over here. So this is the classification task that I'll be looking at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my data set up into a training segment and into a validation segment. I will pick up the training data and I will just train a model on it. And I'm using a fairly lightweight model. The main thing that's in here is I'm using these count vectorizers, and one of these count vectorizers is analyzing the characters, so I'll be looking at subwords as well, and all of that is going to go into this diet classifier. You might notice that the number of epochs is relatively low, and that's because looking at the logs, I noticed that only after a few epochs there's already a convergence happening. But all in all, this will just be the basic model that I'll refer to. Next, what I'll do is I'll use the model to check how well it performs against the validation set. This will give me a number. But I will also do something else. Because what I can do is I can choose to augment my validation set. What I can do is I can take the text that I have and I can just introduce a couple of typos here. The idea is that I will just be able to simulate typos with characters that are next to each other on the keyboard, but this should give me a different data set that I can validate on. And next what I can do is I can compare my model against that data set. And by checking the difference between these two comparisons, I should be able to measure how brittle my model is when typos are introduced. And here's the original results that I got. I got about an 86% accuracy on my original validation set, but after introducing the spelling errors, this was reduced to 72%. And that's a pretty big difference. There's a few things to acknowledge here. The fact that there is a big difference here is certainly a cause of concern, but we should remind ourselves that we are taking a bit of an extreme approach. Commonly, if a user were to type something and they notice a spelling error, they are bound to maybe correct themselves. But still, this is a reason for concern. And there's a couple of things that we might want to do. We might want to tweak some of our parameters inside of our pipeline over here. But what I would like to propose is that maybe we start thinking about the typo problem in a slightly different way. So let's reconsider the problem that we have. We have our train data, we train our model, and then we notice that if we let it loose on our validation data set, we get a score, but it performs worse when we augment that data. Should we really be surprised by this fact? After all, you could say that the data that you see here is very much unlike the data that we've trained on. We didn't have any spelling errors in our training set, so it's not too surprising that we aren't able to deal with it. So how about we just repeat the trick? But we now do it for our training set as well. Let's now also generate an augmented train set. Because here's where we can do something that's actually kind of interesting. What we can do is we can say, well, let's take our original model as a starting point now, and let's fine-tune it. This will be our first fine-tuned model. This will also allow us to use an interesting feature inside of Rasa. Rasa supports incremental training, and there's a video in this Algorithm Whiteboard series about that if you're interested. But a core part of this incremental training feature is that we're able to fine-tune using both the original data and a new dataset. By taking both of these datasets, we could say something like, well, let's only train for about 3 epochs. We're only learning to be a little bit robust against spelling errors, so maybe we don't have to spend as much time learning from the data. And when you think about it, you can actually repeat this process a whole bunch. This way, we have fine-tuned model 1, fine-tuned model 2, and fine-tuned model 3. Every time that we fine-tune, we spend more epochs training on the augmented dataset over here. But by repeating this fine-tuning, we can measure the impact of fine-tuning more or fine-tuning less. Because you see, there is one concern. We really like having a model that is good at being robust against this validation set, but we also don't want to go overboard in a way that we are no longer performing well on the original validation dataset. We don't want to introduce catastrophic forgetting. And so here are the results that I got. When I started fine-tuning, I saw a hike. When I did some more fine-tuning, I again saw an increase. But it did seem that at some point we weren't seeing as much improvement anymore. What's really interesting to me is what happened with the original validation dataset. That seemed to have gone up as well when we did this. And this is something that I still find interesting. One possible explanation here is that we are technically adding more training data, so that in turn means that we have more data to learn from, which might actually contribute to generalization. That might explain why we see this increase over here. Of course, it might also depend on the dataset and the hyperparameters that I have in my pipeline, but the main observation that I have here is that there indeed seems to be something about augmenting training data and learning on it that can be incredibly beneficial. I also ran one extra experiment. You could argue that instead of doing the fine-tuning that I'm doing over here, what you might also do is just take this as your big training data and just training from that instead. You would have a much bigger data set, and because you're not fine-tuning, you won't be able to do the just 3 epochs trick that we are doing over here, but we could wonder what the performance might be here. When I trained the big model, I got a 93.0% accuracy on the original validation set and an 88.1% accuracy on the validation dataset with typos. So it seems like that's an option that's performing very well. The only downside is that on my machine, this took about 90 minutes, whereas the other options took significantly less time. This one took about 30 minutes to train, this one about 32, and this one about 34. So what did I learn from this experiment? Well, it seems that data augmentation might just be a really good idea. I want to be careful because I don't want to suggest that my benchmark is going to represent whatever you're working on, but it might certainly be worth a try. And that brings me to a little bit of software that I made for the Rasa community. On GitHub, you can find a repository called Typo, and as you might have noticed, Typo is misspelled. It's a command line app that you can install with pip from GitHub, and the idea is that this app will contain tools for data quality inside of Rasa. One of the main features is that it can generate augmented data, and that's a feature that is currently live. The idea from the command line app is that you're able to take NLU files with data that might look like this, and that you can turn it into data that looks like this. There's a little bit of a spelling error in there from time to time. Under the hood, this package is using NLP-aug, and one of the cool features in there is that there's support for a couple of keyboard layouts. From the get-go, there are 10 languages supported in terms of typos, which is pretty neat. This might mean that you can customize the typos for your specific language. And to give the quickest demo, what I've got over here is a nlu.yaml file, and inside of the terminal, I am now going to augment that. I am grabbing the Typo command line app. Inside of that is a keyboard submodule, and it's the augment method that I'll be using. From here, there's a couple of settings. I can change the language layout, I can set the seed, and I can also specify how many characters get changed and how many words will be misspelled. But to use the tool, all I got to do is give it the NLU file that I would like to augment, and then give it a new file to write the augmented data into. When I run this, it will create a new file, and when I open the augmented file, we can indeed see that spelling errors have been introduced. But you can also use this file as an extra file in your data folder to train new models. What I would really like to emphasize here is that what I'm discussing is a bit of an experiment. I have currently only done one benchmark on an English dataset, and I'm intending to do more benchmarks, but I would appreciate to get any feedback that anyone might have, especially if they're interested in running this in a non-English setting. This is a topic that I will definitely get back to in the future, but for now I think it will be nice to regard this as an experiment that we are doing with the community. Anyone who has feedback can definitely reach out to me, and everyone is of course always free to ask questions about this on our forum.